And through tier, Bloody Point. So we've returned to base after defeating the final room of the Chemochamber. We've acquired the materials looted from the core, which includes the phase controller, which allows us to do various things. You'll notice that completing the chamber also gives us an achievement. There's an achievement for each of the different facilities, and that'll pump up a notification very shortly. We also received items which are used for the single player mode. They have no use in multiplayer, so you can take them to the forge and break them down. There we have the achievement. So looking at the controller, the phase controller, you can see some details about its use. It also has a remaining timer you can see counting down. It wasn't clear to me what that timer represented exactly, but basically it just controls the ability to use it. If you don't use it within that timer, the phase controller just breaks and is no longer usable. I received some other legendary items as well, which have use in crafting. There are, of course, multiple tiers of equipment, and that includes armor, weapons, etc., attachments, and even the turrets can be upgraded. So you can see here there are negative and positive effects from activating the phase controller, and this negative effect will remove 5 days from the Terrifier eruption counter. There is a activation time, which means once you choose the spot at which you're going to do the effect, it will count down, giving people a chance to adjust, either evacuate the area or get to the area. And the same is true for the positive effects. Here we can see it's plus 5 days. So if for whatever reason, you were completing certain personal objectives on the server, and the wipe was coming, and you wanted to prevent that or delay it, you could do so by doing the facilities. The duration of the effect once chosen is also displayed. In this case, it's 10 minutes for each. So as you can see, the controller's counting down. This is a legendary item, so you could also transmit this at the tower for points if you didn't need to use it, if you weren't planning to take advantage of the effect. As stated earlier, the different facilities have different effects. This particular one, for the positive activation, gives you an AoE heal. So it's basically a heal over time. You'll take ticks periodically of healing, and this could be very useful if you are assaulting an enemy base or planning to assault a particular facility. You would be able to prepare this in advance. You'd have 10 minutes to get on site, and then you would have this effect in your favor. I'm not sure what would happen for PvP server when the enemy, if you were assaulting a base, for example, raiding, if they would receive the benefits as well. I assume so, but that's something I would have to test in future. So as you can see, I have this targeting, and I have placed the crosshair on my base, and there's a notification. So everybody will get this notification. Everybody who looks at the map will see the targeted area, and as you can see in world, there's this effect for the focal point, but it's also represented on the map by a larger circle. The actual area effect is much larger than this. You can see on the map also they have a pretty nice UI element which indicates the passage of time for the countdown. Like many of the things done in game, the aesthetics are really pleasing, and they did a good job. So again, depending on what your intention was and which effect you were using, you would have to do this in a coordinated way. Um, you can you don't have to be at the location to apply the effect. So if you knew where an enemy base was, for example, you could do it from your own base even though you were far away. Here it's indicating the different effects. So it's pretty cool. You can do a lot with these effects if you were planning something big. Again, really like the way it looks. So as it counts down, considering the fact that this server is not active, but if it were with a high population, these events are global, right? Everybody on the server, both when a facility is being raided and completed and open and closes, and then you place this, targeting location. All these are messaged to everyone on the server, and in some cases there are map indicators as well. So if there's an active population, you can have people coming to a particular spot, and that can generate some PvP. It reminds me a little bit of the original New World prior to the change away from being PvP focused with free building and whatnot. In the alpha, pre-alpha stage, there were these kegs which you could ignite and use to blow open fortifications around the Azure Wells, I think they were called at the time, and they had a distinctive sound, and you can hear from far away. So you'd have a situation where someone would be wandering around, roaming through the forest, and in the distance you would hear this explosion, and everybody would go running. Speaking of sounds, that's my base turret. So we're going to just accelerate time here as we wait for the timer to go down. The effect in terms of the hot heal amount is not a lot. It's not that overpowering, which is probably a good thing. I can see how some of these effects could be used to really cause problems for players who were lower in tier in terms of gear and progression than others. Someone who can do the facility, gets the phase controller, and can irradiate an entire area, making life for a new player difficult. But generally speaking, I think that is not done in practice. The raiding that I've experienced, I of course expected to be raided once I put my base location online, and I have been raided several times since then. The most recent one was more effective than the others, and I lost pretty much everything, which is to be expected. There is a wipe coming up with the new update, the Season 5, as they're calling it. There will be some significant game changes, and as a result, all of the servers will be starting fresh. If you were considering looking at the game, that would be a very good time to do so. I'll discuss the wipe date and time a bit later. Okay, so as you can see, the timer is ticking down. It's very easy with this UI element to know exactly what the area effect will be. So if you were planning some specific operation, and again, some of the effects are different. So there is one which causes a cloud of radiation to descend on the area, and being able to precisely position that is important, and I think the system does a great job of allowing you to do that. And again, the effects are just really pleasing. They've done a really good job. I find throughout the game, whether it's the UI or the icons or the text or the models they use for the various workstations, the weapons, and of course especially the base building, it's really clear and crisp and clean. It's not using jarring colors and whatnot. It has a very cohesive design aesthetic, and I like it a lot. I wish that more people were playing the game, but in terms of the game itself, I have no complaints. There are a few bugs, and as you've probably seen if you've been watching these videos, the AI isn't fantastic, but the foundation of the game is really good, and we're still, less than a year into early access, so there's a lot of progress to be made. Okay, so the air purification was active, and as you can see, the healing AoE effect has topped off my heals. I was slightly injured. I intentionally did not heal that so that I would be able to demonstrate this. And you can also see in the lower right, the days counter has gone up by 5 days, which means the wipe will be taking place later. The time in Dysterra is measured in days, but each day is a real life hour. So that's 625 hours. There is a minimum and maximum that a server's wipe cycle can be modified by. But in this particular case, we've added an additional 5 days. So you can see that the area of effect here is actually considerably large. It's a good chunk of space here. So we're going to go and see if we can find some mobs and test the hot effect, the heal over time, while being damaged. And you have to imagine, this is not something that would be an exclusive source of healing. You would be using your consumables as well. It would just help overall. There is even an effect which causes the NPCs to sleep when they become unconscious. I haven't seen that, but that can be, I imagine, pretty powerful as well. Okay, so let's try this. As you can see, it is doing a decent amount. There is a tick cycle, but in the event of, operation in a particular area, and if you had multiple people, you could see how that would be pretty useful. So, as I said earlier, there is a planned wipe coming up. This will be essentially Monday night at midnight Pacific, or 3 a.m. Tuesday, November 7th. That's Eastern time. And if you have not yet tried the game, I encourage you to pick it up and give it a look. I will have more videos in the future. Thank you for watching.